Hello people, so today's magical video is, as you can probably tell from the title, all about Severus Snape. I have made a video on this channel before about Snape, about my thoughts and opinions on whether or not he was good and bad and all that stuff. I did it like just over 2 years ago, and because of that it's not really great quality, you know, I didn't really put a lot of effort into what I was saying, and so it's been privated. But it was one of my most popular videos, and it's a topic that's still relevant, so I thought I would not refilm it, but just do another video about my thoughts on Snape. So I'm not going to be talking today specifically about whether or not I think Snape is good or bad. This is basically just going to be a character breakdown. Before I start with the video, if you're new here and you haven't already, then why not subscribe to join my little magical corner? I make videos every week all about Harry Potter, so why not join the fun? So I'm going to start off by kind of breaking down parts of Snape's life into little chunks, just to make it easier to break down his character arc, I suppose. So I'm going to start off with his past, at least what we know about his past, what we know about his childhood. It's heavily implied that Snape didn't have a very good upbringing. He had a muggle father and a witch mother, and it's implied that Snape was abused by his father. He certainly seemed abusive towards his mother, which is what we see in a little clip of Snape's memories when Harry taps into his memories. He seems to be a bit of a loner, very withdrawn, probably because of this. And because he was abused by his father, who is a muggle, that could have perhaps inspired a hatred towards muggles. He found a friend in Lily. He met Lily before he started Hogwarts. He meets her because they both live close to each other. She's basically discovering that she's a witch. She didn't know this because she's from a muggle family. They connect and they become friends, and this friendship follows them to Hogwarts, even though she becomes a Gryffindor and he is Slytherin. While he's at school, we know that he was bullied by James and Sirius. He doesn't seem to be a popular kid. He doesn't seem to have any friends, even Slytherin friends, and so his life is made even worse when he's bullied by people, specifically James and Sirius. But it is also stated that Snape never missed an opportunity to get one over on them. However, it did seem to be 2 against 1, and it also seemed, again, I'm taking this from the memory when James levitates him in the Hogwarts grounds and shows everyone his underwear. From that specific scene, it looks as though James and Sirius are being encouraged and egged on by everyone else around, whereas Snape didn't have anyone to stick up for him until eventually Lily came to stick up for him, which was really nice of her, and obviously she would because she's meant to be his friend. She was the only person to defend Snape. The only person who has ever shown Snape any kind of kindness. And I feel like Snape would have been embarrassed about this. Here he is, a Slytherin kid trying to get by at Hogwarts. He has an interest in dark arts, and perhaps he's trying to befriend other Slytherins. He's trying to bring on this persona of being anti-Muggle-born, anti-Muggles in general, and so here's this Muggle-born girl trying to defend him. That's the reasoning I'm giving as to why he called her a mudblood. I feel like throughout all of Snape's life, especially at Hogwarts, he's always felt like he wanted to belong to something, that he wanted a purpose almost. I feel like maybe Lily openly defending him and openly being his friend takes him away from that, kind of stops him from being able to do that. He was trying to find acceptance with his other Slytherin friends. He was trying to make friends, or maybe not friends but allies, because he not only likes Lily as a friend but is in love with her, as we find out later on in the series. He's probably feeling conflicted about this. Then there's the time when James saves Snape's life. So basically Sirius tells Snape how to get into the Shrieking Shack, and so Snape does this. He goes to the Whomping Willow, and that's where he discovers Remus turning into a werewolf. This would have been life-threatening if it wasn't for James saving him. You'd think that maybe perhaps Snape could be thankful for this at the very least, but I think maybe he resented him for it, for the reasoning that he did it, you know. I feel like Snape would have just thought, oh, he did it because he wanted to seem brave and courageous, typical Gryffindor. And yeah, I just feel like he resented him for it. He hated Sirius even more than he ever did because he tricked him, and he probably thought that Remus was behind it as well, so hated him for it. Later on in his Hogwarts career, we learn from his memories in Deathly Hallows that he becomes friendly with other Slytherins and he seems to be immersing himself into the dark arts. And Lily's not happy about this. Lily wants him to stay away from these people. I don't feel like Snape can, because it's the first time he's ever truly included in something, and he feels like he has a purpose in this group. So judging by that, he's reluctant to do this. Also, even though he's in love with Lily and he wants to be with Lily, I feel like deep down he knows that Lily will never feel the same way about him, and maybe one day, especially once they've left school, they would stop being friends and he would lose her as a friend. They already had conflicting interests. Snape was naturally into the dark arts, he was naturally interested in it. Even if he may never have wanted to become a Death Eater and be evil, he was still interested in it. So he had to choose between his love for this girl, who will most likely never love him back and will probably stop being friends with him and fall in love with somebody else, or choose these people who were into the dark arts and will probably end up being Death Eaters. That for Snape was a more solid path to take. I guess he felt like that was the only path he could take if he wanted to feel like he was a part of something, that he was important, he had a role to play or something like that. So he became a Death Eater along with his Slytherin allies, and that looked like that could be where he would stay. He got a job at Hogwarts as the potions master. It seemed at this point that Snape was going undercover for Voldemort to get information. So yeah, like I said, this seemed to be where Snape's true loyalties lied, until Voldemort killed Lily, and that was a turning point for Snape. Obviously Snape would have been devastated, heartbroken. I think maybe he turned to Dumbledore. I feel like maybe before this happened, Dumbledore might have been trying to get into his head. I feel like Dumbledore knew that Snape was a Death Eater and trying to double cross him, and he was trying to get him on the good side. I could be completely wrong about this, but this is what I think anyway. And so once Voldemort had killed Lily, Snape went to Dumbledore because Dumbledore was there for him. You know, Dumbledore respected him, a kind of respect and kindness that he only ever got from Lily. He never got that from Voldemort or any of the other Death Eaters. At that point, yeah, his loyalty had changed. So Voldemort is supposedly killed. Life goes on. Some Death Eaters are imprisoned, others claim that they were under the Imperius Curse or that they've changed their ways. Snape is one of those, and he stays at Hogwarts, and life moves on until Harry comes to Hogwarts as a student, meets Snape, and realises instantly that Snape seems to be against him. Now, Snape is a very bitter man as an adult at this time, very bitter, but you can understand that from his past and everything that's happened. Obviously, Harry didn't know that. He did know that Snape seemed to have a personal vendetta against him and didn't know why. And this is a key thing here as to why I've always considered Snape as kind of a bad guy. He wasn't just mean to Harry, he was a bully to other students as well, especially Gryffindors, it seemed. He just seemed to be a really horrible, unfair teacher. I just feel like there's no excuse for that. The way he treated Neville, he became Neville's greatest fear, and he was his teacher. How can you treat a child like that who's done nothing wrong or doesn't know that they did anything wrong? But yeah, I've just always thought there's absolutely no excuse for bullying kids. Harry is basically the walking, talking result of the love of his life choosing the man he hated over him. He looks at Harry and sees James, and he can't not, since Harry's supposed to look so much like him. So yeah, maybe you could excuse Snape's behaviour for the way he treated Harry and other students because of how he was brought up and because of what happened in his past. But that is still, I don't think, a good enough reason to treat Harry and his classmates the way he did. I don't think Harry should have forgiven that in the way that he did, i.e. naming his child after him. I don't think he should have done that. More on that probably in another video. There is absolutely no denying that Snape is one of the most talented wizards in the Harry Potter series. Not only is he really skilled at potions and the dark arts, but he's also really skilled at legilimens. He was able to defy Voldemort, who's supposed to be the best at occlumency, but Voldemort never knew that Snape was secretly against him. He had no idea about that. I like to think that Snape got so skilled at Legilimens because he wanted to block out his past. He wanted to block out all of the dark memories in his past, and so he would have been keen to learn and master occlumency as anyone would if they had a horrible past like him, I guess. When I first decided I was going to make this video, a lot like when I made the video 2 years ago, I was basically going to slate Snape, you know, ultimately being on the good side, but being on the good side for all the wrong reasons, and not knowing why other people thought he was on the good side just because him killing Dumbledore was all planned, and just because he showed his true loyalties at the end. It doesn't mean he was a good guy. But once I sat down and started to really break down Snape's character and try and put myself in his shoes, to try and come up with a reasonable explanation as to why he acted the way he did, why he did what he did, I kind of went about it in a kind of psychological way. I'm basically saying that Snape was just depressed and lonely and just wanted to fit in and be included, and he felt like the only way he could do that was to become a Death Eater, and then he realised he couldn't be a Death Eater because Voldemort killed the love of his life, and then he was like, yeah, I do have another choice to go to. I could be loyal to Dumbledore instead and be on the good side. I don't know if this is where J.K. Rowling was going with this, although saying that Snape is depressed could be, because J.K. Rowling herself has admitted that she was depressed. Mental health is an important aspect in a lot of people's lives, you know, it does destroy lives and it does become a massive part of people's personality and the choices they make and the things they do. That shouldn't be just how it is in our world, it could be the same in the magical world as well. Mental health is never mentioned as a thing in the magical world. It's the same with other actual physical diseases as well, like they're not actually a thing in the Harry Potter world, and I guess that's because Harry Potter is a story about the magical world, a place where people can escape to, and it's for children as well. It just wouldn't have been very appropriate to put in there. It kind of ruins the persona of it being a magical alternate universe, I guess. But if we were to make Harry Potter more realistic, people would suffer from mental health as well. And I feel like Snape might have been one of them. And I only came up with this today when I was planning this video, and now I see Snape in a whole new light. Like, yes, he was still a bit of a douche, especially to the kids at school. He still could have chosen not to become a Death Eater, but ultimately I guess he made the right decisions in the end. He chose the good side. I don't know, I'm just repeating myself now, aren't I? You know, the first part of this video was all scripted and I had all these bullet points down and I said them all, and now I'm just like, I don't know if this video is going the way I wanted it to. I feel like I might have missed something. So yeah, these are basically all my thoughts about Snape, my own little character breakdown of Snape from someone who has no proper training or education in literature, so forgive me for that. If you have anything to add, or if you agree or disagree, then let me know in the comments. We can have a nice little discussion going. I might have forgotten something. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because that'd be awesome. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, then please subscribe to join my little magical corner. I still don't know if I like saying that, it feels a bit cringy to me, but let me know if you like that, because I don't know. But subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I make magical videos every single week. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.